Edgar Allan Poe was born in 1809 in Boston, was the son of Elizabeth Arnold and David Poe, who were traveling actors. He was an orphan at 2 years old, and he was educated by John Allan, a rich man. They moved to the United Kingdom, and there he began his education. The Allan welcomed the child but never adopted him formally. He came back to the United States and attended the University of Virginia. His addiction to drinking and gambling made him leave his studies. He was in the army for 2 years. Due of his work, he lived in several cities like Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York. In Baltimore in 1835, he married his cousin Virginia Clem. After a while, his wife died of tuberculosis. He sank into desolation. Edgar wrote about 60 stories. Terror seemed to pursue him, but he also wrote detective stories. Known as a central figure of Romanticism, his life was full of depression, melancholy, drugs, and alcohol. Poe had a lonely death at 40. After his death on October 7, 1849, the stories of Poe reached a reputation that he would never have imagined in life. He was very athletic and an inspiration to other writers like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. In the only novel written by Poe, it's about the crew of a boat that decides to eat Richard Parker, one of them, for lack of food. In 1884, it happened. They ate a boy named Richard Parker, like the protagonist of Poe. Poe's most famous poem and one of the most popular poems in the world was originally sold by the author in 1845, and he was paid $9 for it. Despite his dark tale about a black cat, Poe loved cats. The most widespread photographs are from the time close to his death, a moment where he didn't have the best appearance. Everything related to Poe still has that poetic something. He contributed greatly to the consolidation of gender literature and was one of the founders of the fantasy genre and introduced the rationalization of the irrational. Thanks, Raven. The story is about a man who was a pet lover. Over the time, he changed and became a different person, and with alcohol even more. He kills his cat, his favorite pet. He has very frequent mood swings, so one day he adopts another similar cat. After a while, he starts to hate him, which makes him crazy, so he ends up killing his wife. He hides her very well, but by a shot from the cat, the cop notices that there is something behind the wall. About the characters, the main ones are the narrator and the two cats. The wife and cubs aren't developed. The story is about a person who is carried away by his emotions to the limit. In different parts of the story shows how he wants in a moment something and then not. The work is very related to reality, since many people change their mood from one moment to another and get annoyed by everyday situations, which leads them to do things they really don't want to do, but they do. The character from the beginning of his life will have a namesake, which has the same name and appearance, only that the second speaking whispers. He met him at school, and how much more he realized his resemblance, he felt more scared. He leaves the school and thinks he left the other William behind. But through his life, he keeps appearing trying to stop the dishonest acts of the principal William. So he decides to kill him, but with this he is killing himself because it was the reflection of his moral. William Wilson as narrator is spoiled. He used to do what he wants, and he has a strong character. William Wilson as the homonym is a young man with the same name and appearance as the previous William, only that he speaks in whispers. Basically, The story is about two men with the same name and appearance, but with the background of a good William who indirectly always appeared to stop the dishonest acts of the first. The second William is meant to be the conscience of the first. Is the presentation of two equal boys, both highlights of the other, showing the unsatisfying life of the rebellious William and the life he really wants. I really like this story because it teaches us when we stop following our conscience and morality, we lose what we are.